Higher costs for higher learning. That is the potential outcome facing college students as universities struggle to implement Obamacare. Indiana's Purdue University is experiencing sticker shock with millions of dollars in Obamacare fees. With more on this, Ron Meyer, Republican Virginia congressional candidate. Ron, it's always great to have you on the show, and I'm glad to have you on this topic because I have to tell you, I'm a little stumped by this. Why is Purdue facing higher costs because of Obamacare?
Well, first of all, it's not just Purdue. It's actually colleges across the country. A couple of colleges in Florida came out today and said they're facing the same thing. Talked to some college administrators in Virginia. They're seeing the same sort of thing. The problem is, just like every other business in the country, they are being forced to cover their employees. And so they previously had not covered all their employees, so they have to. And there's huge administrative costs associated with that. So in Purdue's case, this is $2.8 million a year we're talking about in added costs. And when you pass that along to the students, it means even higher tuition. And when tuition's already going up at a rate twice the rate of inflation, I mean, this does not help us. And we're, with students altogether facing a terrible economic situation, now having to take out more debt for their college because tuition's going up because of Obamacare. It's just a terrible situation.
Just to interrupt you here, Ron, so this is another pressure on tuition inflation. It's another pressure on students' pocketbooks. And it's not just happening at the collegiate level. It's also happening in elementary and high schools all over the country. What you see is a downsizing with small businesses, with everybody. Everybody's having to cut headcount because they can't provide health care. What do you say?
What I say is that I think that it's just another case that, Obama's already delayed it 1 year, the employer mandate. I think this is one thing that we should get rid of altogether, and the individual mandate. Forcing people into health care isn't going to make health care more achievable and more affordable for Americans, especially young people. And the funny thing about this law is there's also price controls that actually target young people to pay more to subsidize older Americans.
Right.
And that's not fair, especially in an economy like this where we have the highest structural youth unemployment since the Great Depression.
I'm reading that there are fewer people between the ages of 25 and 34 that are buying houses any time in modern history in this country, and it's because they're carrying a lot of student loan debt. I mean, it's circular. They put off all their decision-making, financial decision. They don't get married. They don't have kids because they have all this debt. I want to tell you a story out of the University of Florida. Two Florida universities announcing they will cut the hours of adjunct faculty to avoid paying the extra cost. So here we are. We're increasing the cost of education. We're reducing the quality of education. And why? Because of a health care law that just doesn't seem to work. What else do you think we can do to reduce these costs? Because I know you've spent a lot of time thinking about education.
Well, I mean, obviously, getting rid of this mandate is the first step. And the other problem is you have to remember, too, that students' premiums, so students also have to buy insurance. They have to be covered. And before college, a lot of colleges provided actually health insurance. They charged a premium for that. And the problem is, as Forbes has pointed out, those costs, the costs for those premiums have gone up as much as 1,000%. I just talked to somebody at a college where theirs is going up 75%. And so it's more expensive for students to get premiums. Their tuitions are going up. So what we're seeing is just this circle of awfulness that's surrounding young people.
Circle of awfulness. I agree.
Epic
you make a good point,
though. It really is bad, though.
You make a good point, though, that you used to be able to get sort of a modest plan, a coverage plan when you were at school, and now you can't do that. So how is this helping our health care? It's not. Ron, it's great to have you on the show. Come back soon. We've got a lot more to talk about with your age group. I think a lot of issues to delve into. Thank you for helping.
I appreciate it. Thanks.